Kevin, your colleague, Kevin Paul Dupont, in his Sunday Notes column mentioned the Bruins have Tyler Bertuzzi and Dmitry Orlov as pending high-profile UFAs. Like Severson, Damon Severson, obviously, they'd be allowed to sign only 7-year deals with clubs other than Boston, with a trade partner willing to go to 8 years and with the player agreeing. Sweeney could sign one or both to max term length and receive a pick or two in return. Again, fairly humble return, but the Bruins can use picks. And anything is better than seeing them walk for nothing. Obviously, Damon Severson was signed to an 8-year, $50 million deal by New Jersey, traded to Columbus. Columbus got a 3rd-round pick in exchange. Obviously, Bertuzzi seems off the table. That they seem like they want to try and re-sign him, try and find something at least. Orlov is where it gets interesting, I think, because Orlov we've kind of all written off over the past couple of weeks. Last month. The problem is he's 30, so I don't know if other teams are really eager to sign him to a 8-year deal. I don't know. Maybe you find someone desperate who's going to give up a 2nd or a 3rd-round pick. Orlov is now definitely one of the top UFAs on D, maybe the top. Because again, Severson's gone, Gavrikov's gone. If a team really wanted to kind of get the inroad, I don't see why not, if you can try to make that work if you're Don Sweeney.
Bruins coverage is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at something like that in terms of structuring it where you are able to sign them to a longer-term deal. It requires a lot, I think, to go in the Bruins' favor. Like, you need one from the goodwill of, like, Orlov. Like, again, let's, I think, view it in the perspective of Orlov, I guess, because the Bruins, as you said, are trying to do what they can to retain him, and if that means moving out contracts, we'll see what happens. But the Bruins, I don't think are going to be in a situation where they're like, all right, well, it's good run, Tyler. Like, yeah, the money's not going to work. They're going to view their options, see what they can do first. Orlov, I agree, like, very good player still, fit in well on this team. But when you look at his age, plus the term, plus the payout, plus the Bruins' limited cap space right now, makes sense. They're probably going to move on, but to then go to Orlov and be like, all right, we can't sign you, really, but want to give us a little wink, wink, nod, like help us get a 6th-round pick or a 7th-round pick off of just adding another year of term for another team to get him. Like, I just view it as, especially if it'd be one thing if it was like some player who had been here for years and like it just wasn't going to work out, and like, all right, you know us, we know your agent, we know all this stuff. Like Orlov, he's been here for a few months. Like, I don't really see that happening. And again, like, it's right. Like the Bruins desperately need draft capital, but that being the avenue they take, I just don't see it happening from just a practical sense, right? In terms of what you need to have happen there. You need a lot of working pieces to just get a probably 6th or 7th-round pick.
Yeah,
like, I don't think you're getting
not getting much.
Yeah, not much for just another year tacked on. When, as you said too, like, I think Orlov's going to get what, 6 years, like $6.5 million, right? Like, I don't think the Bruins are going to hit that. I don't see any team giving him 8. And if you are, I mean, all the power to Dmitry Orlov, but like, I don't know how many teams are going to give him an 8-year deal.
Yeah, it comes down to like who's giving him an 8-year deal. And Columbus is kind of a unique team. They're aggressively retooling that back end. Yeah. They're doing some odd stuff to try and make that all work and become a contender basically overnight. I don't know what Orlov brings to a team where that's the case, who can't wait a few days to try and sign him. Like I that's where I don't understand how that works. And as you said, it's not like, oh, you can potentially get a 1st-round pick for Dmitry Orlov. It's like, you're getting a low pick, which again, I mean, you never know, but you need draft capital in the first 2 rounds. You don't really need to bend over backwards for the later rounds. And again, I think we'll get into as the draft gets closer, is there any chance they get into the 1st round? Is there any chance they get into the 2nd round? I think they'd like to, but it's very hard to do it in this draft because it's really, really freaking good.
Bruins coverage is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win.